Hi, Eddie.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm well. I'm well. How are you tonight?
It's been a long day. I'm ready to get this conversation going and have some fun.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Now, can you tell me something right now that every dad should know?
Yeah, I would say no matter what, you're not alone. You have a village somewhere. It could be a few guys at work. It could be a few guys online or down the street, but you're never alone.
I like that, Eddie. That's a good one to go with. All right, guys. Welcome to the Dad's Club Clubhouse Podcast. I'm Jeremiah, and I'll be your host today. Tonight's theme is showing up when it's just you. Every dad has a story he doesn't tell. The one before the kids, the one before the title, before anybody needed him. This isn't a podcast about being perfect. It's not about parenting tips or hacks. It's about the weight we carry, the mistakes we survived, and the moments that almost broke us. Here we don't talk over the hard stuff. We sit with it. This is where dads come to tell the truth. You have to look strong, but to stay standing. Welcome to the clubhouse. All right, guys. Once again, I'm Jeremiah, and I have with us tonight Eddie. Eddie is a single dad who grew up in a split home. Eddie's dad, who learned only early in showing up, doesn't always come with a roadmap. I don't know how that came up.
Well, that's
All
okay.
right.
We're ready,
Yeah.
though. Let's go.
Eddie grew up in a split home with a military father, is what I was trying to say. And anybody who knows the military life knows that it's very demanding of your time. Eddie spent a lot of time watching and learning, figuring things out in real time from his friends and his friends' dads. And when life stripped things down for Eddie, he chose presence over excuses. Today, Eddie's a single dad raising his daughter every day, building a life of consistency, faith, and the small moments that matter most. This is his story. Hey, Eddie.
That
I
was
knew
an
we'd get through
amazing
that.
intro. That was an amazing intro.
I knew we'd get through it. All right, guys. So I mentioned just now that Eddie grew up split home. Dad worked a lot. Mom held it together too. Eddie, in that split family, what was that like growing up? How did that feel to you?
It kind of stood out. Most of my friends had both parents. Unfortunately, life happened. They got divorced, and my dad was in the military. He was overseas. He was in different states, different countries for work. My mom was single mom, trying to raise me with friends. My dad was helping with what he could when I got to see him. But a lot of my other friends, their parents were together, so it felt like there was something that I was missing, and it was kind of trying to figure out how to get it all pieced together.
Yeah. Wow. So I didn't grow up with. I wasn't in a military family, so I didn't experience that whole thing. Now, I know you mentioned a couple times that your dad was away. How did that in itself shape you into what you are today?
So I'd say for me personally, I respect the military. I think it's
Uh-huh.
amazing what anyone does in the military.
Yeah.
For me, I was trying to find something that I wasn't as gone as often for work.
Yeah.
And I talk to my dad every day now, just about over different passions that we have, and I see him as often as I can, trying to keep time going, because unfortunately when he was working, that was his job. As he was
Yeah.
overseas or he was in different countries for work.
Man, that had to be
And
tough.
yeah, I mean, any military parent I know, if they could be home with their kid every night, they would.
Yeah. Yeah, I know my wife was actually she retired army, and I know that was one of her biggest regrets is the time she lost with her family. And your mom worked multiple jobs too, didn't she?
She worked a couple different jobs. She would drop me off to school, where I'd walk to school depending on which school I was going through at that time. And
Yeah.
then she would work one job a couple nights a week and the other job a couple nights a week. And there was a couple times to where If it was bad weather, I just walked to whatever job she was at and sat out back in the break room, waiting for her to get off to give me a ride home. Well, us a ride home.
Wow. So now we've got both parents not there. How did you learn what a man's role is in is what was your example of a man's role in this world?
A lot of it was my friends' dads, also a couple TV dads, wrestling,
Yeah?
different wrestlers. Yeah, it was. I had some friends that had dads that were there, able
Yeah.
to be there, and some of them I learned how to be, and some of them I learned how to not be like.
That's an interesting take because a lot of people don't mention that what they the examples they had that they don't want to be like. That was a big takeaway for me from our last conversation. Now you said that a lot of your examples came from your dads. What was something major that stuck with you that is cemented in you from learning from these other kids' dads?
There's there was just so many ways of how they handled things were differently, and
Hmm.
I'm not saying because granted their dads were present, but their dads also weren't always the best example of how to be. Sometimes it was learning how to not be.
You know?
Some were extremely strict. Some didn't follow up on anything.
Wow.
Some of them kind of just they had the because I said so mentality, but they weren't teaching. And then some were there, but very very strict. So there was a balance all the way across.
Yeah, it seems like that was the generation that we came from was the, children were seen and not heard, that type of thing, and I really think that as we grow, we've been able to change that. Now, you became a father early on in life, right? It came fast.
We talked about it, and it was so embarrassing that I couldn't do simple math. But
Yeah.
yes, it was 27 when I was trying to figure out the year that I
Oh wow.
was. We talked about this, remember? And it was so embarrassing. I had to pull out my phone and calculate on a calculator.
12 years ago, huh?
Yeah,
So when you found out you were going to be a dad, this is a major question for every dad. What was the first thought that ran through your mind?
absolutely screwed.
Yeah.
Absolutely screwed. I found out, and my whole body got hot, like standing on the sun temperature. And it was just, oh no, everything I've done is going to come back to get me.
Everything. I hear you on that one.
Every single thing. It was pregnant, and then it was having a daughter. And previously, we mentioned that I wanted a son first. I wanted to be able
Yeah.
to have a son so that the son could help me beat up the daughter's boyfriends when I was no longer physically capable of doing it. And then it was just having a girl. I was at work with one of my buddies, and my wife at the time was in another state, and I was sitting in my buddy's office at work. He was actually my boss, and my head was down, and they were like, "It's a girl," and I was like, "Oh shit."
That's interesting. That's interesting. So, when your daughter was born, I remember that I had that lightning strike moment that this is real. Did you experience that?
There was a lot of things that was
Yeah.
experienced. There was a lot of very colorful words. There was a lot of stress. There was not being ready financially, and then I
Hey,
guess granted
baby.
you figure it out.
My little girl's here. She popped out again. She wants to say hi again.
She's
This
being a
is
celebrity
Abigail.
right now.
She is. She's like, Daddy, you're on a recording. I got to be on it. Yeah? All right. You guys need to be in bed, though. Get back to bed. It's late. Oh, boy. Here comes my son now, too. We got the whole crew in tonight. All right, Mav. Say hi.
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 I want to sit in my chair.
You want to sit in the chair? Why don't you pull up your chair? You can play your tablet right there, and I'll just keep going, okay? You get back to bed. You got school in the morning.
So I'll say this is an example of just being a dad and rolling with it. You're the
That's
host,
right.
but I'm adding to it while you're parenting.
That's all we can do, right? Speaking of parenting. So, speaking of parenting, you did mention Eddie and I talked a little bit before we got into this conversation. He mentioned to me that he buried himself in work. What was that? Why did you feel like it was the most important thing to you?
Having to provide and pull my weight. We
Yeah.
weren't ready. We weren't expecting. Financially, we weren't ready. We just jumped into a house and then found out, well, I found out afterwards that there was a baby coming. It went from, all right, barely over minimum wage or at minimum wage, just getting a house, throwing money at that, and then saying, all right, now there's going to be another mouth to feed. So that's terrifying.
Yeah, I can imagine. You did tell me too that the company downsized rather quickly right after your baby was born.
So it was, all right, we need you to transfer. It was going to be a 45, 50-minute each-way commute. And having a newborn daughter was an option. I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
Can we figure something else? And it was unfortunately the job's being moved. And if you can't, we've got to let you go. And they gave me a severance. I was lucky to where I was able to quickly grab another job, but I was also applying for everything and anything because you can't then have 3 mouths under one.
Yeah. Wow. Yes, honey. Probably. You gotta get to bed. Because of the scritchy scratch. Just don't play with it. Okay. I love you. Oh, your new noodle, huh? Okay. You gotta get to bed. You got school in the morning. Keep going. Get going, kiddo.
What are those turtles on her shirt?
Ah, Stitch. She's a
Okay.
Stitch girl. She loves the Disney stuff.
Oh, man, hang on.
There you go. You got it.
I got a giant one behind me that's hidden that's 3 feet tall, too.
Experiment 626, huh? That's
Yep.
cool. That's really cool. All right. Now, you are a man of faith.
Yes.
I love that about you. I love that was the first thing you led with when I met you when you first opened the conversation. And you said that you prayed a lot during this time. You landed on your feet. What did faith look like to you in that season of your life? What was your faith like then? Because I know it mutates through the years and grows and changes. What was it like then?
I was praying a lot with curse words. That's the
Yeah.
easiest way to put it. It was, this is not what I asked for, and what the f am I gonna do now? And this was,
Yeah.
I wanted a family, and I was happy to have a family. I was absolutely losing my mind, and it was, all right. I asked for it, and I'm getting it way sooner than what I wanted.
It came whether you wanted it or not.
It was. I wanted to have a fully set up career, ready to go, bills paid, and then have the kid. So
Yeah, isn't that the way it usually goes? I mean, that's what I wanted too. To have you have this picture in your mind of everything being in line. You got the house, you got the picket fence, and then it just doesn't work out. And then when you get it, it can all fall apart. A few minutes ago, you mentioned my wife. Then, what was that about?
ended up getting divorced, I guess is the easiest way to put it.
Oh wow!
And I mean, I have a beautiful daughter out of the marriage, but it ended up not going any way that it should have went.
Yeah. Now, folks, Eddie told me that this happened rather uniquely. Eddie, do you want to talk about that a bit? When you found things out, when you understood the end was becoming a reality?
So previously, I did another podcast with Matt, who also is the anxious lad. He was doing different things for guys with mental,
Yeah. Preparedness.
anguish or what have you. Yes, as far
Yeah.
as doubts and anxiety, and trying to help be an outlet, just like you are. And unfortunately, people saw the podcast and they felt inclined to communicate to me that she was not being 100% of the marriage, created a fake Facebook account, and notified me that my marriage was over without me knowing that it was over.
Wow. I bet you that must have been devastating, man. How did you handle that reality?
I leaned on a lot of friends. I actually talked to Matt a lot after I found out,
Yeah.
who's also in the dad's group. And it still hits a lot in the chest talking about it,
Yeah.
because I didn't get married to get divorced. For me, it was supposed to be, say I do, and that was it, and keep
Yeah.
going. And then unfortunately, it happened, and then more happened, and other drama happened.
Just kept rolling up in a ball, huh?
It kept snowballing.
Wow. Now, a lot of men, a lot of men getting that kind of information, accepting that reality would be, woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. How did you carry that weight?
So I had a couple people that I was able to confide in closely. Unfortunately, a lot of it also was trying to keep my daughter in a good spot because she also saw stuff going on and notified me. And
Oh, wow.
that was something that I'm still dealing with a little bit,
Uh-huh.
trying to have her realize that her mom is still her mom and loves her, but her
Yeah.
choices weren't the best.
Yeah. That's a hard line to tell, man. I mean, is that easy? Do you find that to be very challenging or something that just you kind of roll with the punches?
It I don't I don't forgive the actions by any means. If I keep holding that grudge, it's just going to eat away.
Yeah, like a monkey on your
And
back.
a lot of times having that grudge and everything that happened, it prevents you from being happy in life.
Yeah, and that's really important to you. I understand. Now, um, you've talked a lot. You've mentioned your daughter a lot. Now, I want to hear about your daughter. Um, going through all this, going through the job, having to find, your own work again, having to uproot, change your marriage, all that stuff. How did you? Oh, what's the word I'm looking for? How did you manage being a dad with your daughter, building that relationship? I mean, how big of a focus was that? I mean, obviously you're a good dad,
Yeah.
but how did you manage that, building that relationship with her through all this turmoil?
So I'll say after the boobs went away for breastfeeding, and after a couple years after that, she just has been at my hip since then.
Yeah.
And once the milk went away, and then she realized that Dad was giving her food too early and chocolate too early, and if I was eating it and she went to grab it, we were sharing it. So from then on, we've just been at the hip. I mean, we do different things together. We have a lot of dates as dad and daughter. I mean, she's with me 7 days a week, so we have dates whether it's at home or wherever else. But
That's cool.
she yells at me. She communicates in a way that sometimes it's stressful because she hears things and she tells me what she hears on shows she's watching or what have you. But she speaks to me without a filter, and there's times that as a dad you don't want to hear some of those things.
Yeah, no, I understand that. So I understand that you're.
He's helping out.
Hey.
Hi.
My co-host. He just wanted to say hi. He's back to his game. Huh. So, being that single father, I'm sure you're very protective of her. How do you do that? You got her 7 days a week. You guys have a lot of interaction. How do you protect her without smothering her? That's something that I'm interested in.
So, no dad wants to have the conversation of, hey, this girl was kidnapped. No dad wants to have the conversation of, hey, this boy was kidnapped. I show her things on the news. Previously, she would, I guess, maybe not doubt me, but think it wasn't as serious. But like stuff happens, I'm like, look, this happened here, this happened here. And I mean, we live in a pretty good area. I purposely got an area next to a school for a house. She's smart. I mean, she's got straight A's in school. She's had straight A's for the longest time. And so I can communicate to her a bit more clearly than sometimes you would be able to for a regular kid. She's 12 years old, but she reads. He won.
You did.
Your kid won.
You did.
I forgot what I didn't hear what he won, but he won.
He's playing Hot Wheels.
So I'm able to have some of those candid conversations with her. And there's times that, she wants to be alone. There's times that maybe I want to be alone because I'm tired from work. But she throws stuff in my beard. I don't have hair for her to put stuff in, but she'll throw makeup on me even if I don't want it, or she'll brush my beard or put stuff in my beard.
That's
And
so cool.
When she was 3, she started brushing my hair, and so she still does it even though I don't have any more on top. And
That's great.
just being able to have fun. I mean, I can tell her, like, hey, this is a serious conversation, and we'll have this serious conversation.
Yeah. So your boundaries are very clear. That's really awesome, man. So I take it you like a lot of the time you probably don't take yourself too seriously. Taking, have a good time, Charlie, with this. Why is that so important to you?
So I'd say more often than not, I'm extremely serious. When it comes to kids, it's a different game. I'll sit there and one of my buddies will have a daughter and she hands me a teacup and I drink with a teacup. But even now, if I'm with my daughter and I have a drink and she's now 12, I'll still go like this because she'll tell me, pinky up, father.
That's great, dude. That's so awesome. So, another big question for you, buddy. So might hit home. I want to know. You strike me as like a man's man, which is like the beard, the everything. How do you transfer the emotional availability to a 12-year-old who's watching every move you make? What does that look like to you? The emotional availability.
I get home from work, she gives me a big hug. If I'm able to pick her up from school, I'll pick her up like in the school parking lot like this and just give her a giant kiss on the face. And it's just, I'm always available.
That's
any
good.
any dad, even if we're tired, we want to be available.
Yeah, I can absolutely relate to that. That's a big part of my life, man, and I love to hear that about you. Um, so now we talked a little bit about your daughter. Is there anybody of interest in your life? Are you dating now? Have you remarried?
Not remarried, definitely dating someone, and my daughter has fully encouraged that because after everything happened, she was saying to me, when are you going to find someone else? When are you going to find, someone to be with? Because she loves me and she loves her mom, doesn't like necessarily what she did, but she's well aware that she wants me to have somebody. So I met someone, and this I didn't know about when we previously talked, so I'll show you this in a second, but it's next to me. Met a girl, went on dates. My daughter was being nosy, wasn't aware she was being nosy, and pops out the side and is like, hi, as I'm chatting with her on the phone, and then asked to meet her. So then they met. They've had a lot of hangouts together. They've had a lot of girl dates together. And the person that I'm with, we have the same faith. And a weird story happened. And I honestly didn't know this when we talked before. But I bought a Bible. She saw the Bible. And then she told me she had the same Bible at home. And I was confused about it. But years ago, in 2023, she's going to school for psychology. And then this was delivered with all of her textbooks that she was getting. She didn't order this. So then she started writing notes in there to whoever she was eventually going to be with. And then she saw that I bought the same Bible, so then she gave me this Bible that has all these different notes in there and post-its that whoever she ended up with, she wanted them to read those parts of the Bible, which is pretty neat because she never bought the Bible, but it arrived with all of her textbooks for psychology. And then so she started writing in it and dedicating it to whoever she was going to eventually end up with.
Wow, That is some stars aligning there, dude.
And I didn't know this when we talked.
Wow.
Because she just gave this to me the other day.
Yeah.
And you and I talked last week.
Yeah. Wow, man. That is some awesome stuff, dude. So I know your first wife was not into your faith, and at that time you probably didn't have, you said you were doing a lot of swear praying, and that's understandable. What's different this time with the faith? What's different? Was this something you guys entered into knowing that you both were a faith, or was this something you found out?
So, oddly enough, my ex-wife would go to church with me now and then. And for her, she said that she believed in something higher, wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah.
The basis of me finding someone, if I did, we were going to have the same faith of Christianity. And I'm not putting anyone down for any different beliefs that they have that works for them.
Yeah.
But for me, I needed to have that. And I'm not sure how much of the problems that my ex and I had were from being unequally yoked. Which I also learned was because back when they used to have, I guess, cows or bulls or horses pulling together, if they weren't equally strong, the yoke was, I guess, what helped go around their necks, which is where that part came from being unequally yoked. But if I was going to do it again and try it again, I had to have someone with the same faith.
Yeah. That's amazing, man. You know what? That's really cool. Like, your boundaries, I'm noticing that your boundaries, and you stick to them, but you're not rigid in them, but you know what you expect, and it's non-negotiable with you, and you maintain that. Is that something that you grew? This isn't understood. This is going off script completely. Is that something you've always been? You've always been that way, or is that something you learned as you matured, as you changed relationships, as you raised your daughter?
So, as a kid, I went to church of my own free will. Whether it was middle school, broke my leg going into high school, going to acquire the fire, I always had the faith. But as I've gotten older, I've gotten more closer to my faith, and I never had any, what's the right word? I never had any, well, you're wearing headphones. I never had any oh shit moments to where, and I was making sure just to try to check.
Yeah, I understand.
And in the past, I had a lot of issues with stuff going wrong, depression, and I know we talked about this before. I was driving blindly through traffic just because I had so much going on, because my ex was saying, you don't love me, this, that, you don't care about me. And the entire time I'm doing everything I can to show opposite of that I do. And so as I've gotten older, and we're not in our 60s or 70s, but as I've gotten older, I've gotten more to, okay, saying and thinking something is one thing for faith, but actually doing it, the action is the action of anything is more important than just saying. And again, I was going to church. I went to Acquire the Fire, which was gatherings in Virginia a couple times. I went to some Christian concerts. I used to have a crush on a Christian singer named Stacey Orico.
Yeah.
And it was just, as I don't like the way that the world's going.
Yeah.
I'll say it that way. And so a lot of the stuff that I read, although it's in the Bible, it's also really good advice. So I like Proverbs a lot. But it's just
I understand
the action and the lessons and going from there.
I love the Proverbs, dude. I actually read a verse a day, or a chapter a day. There's 30 or 31 chapters in Proverbs, and I read a chapter a day. That's what it, not a verse, a chapter.
I've got the one on the phone, and then I read. There's an old picture of my daughter, but
Aww.
and then I have the Bible verse on top, and then I'll watch different Bible videos on YouTube as I'm driving to work or what have you.
Oh, that's cool, man. That's cool. Now, we talked about boundaries. What boundaries matter to you most right now? As as you're walking, as you're carrying your relationship.
Yep.
You've got your daughter. How do you maintain boundaries with all this
This is
going
a
on?
fun episode.
This is a fun episode. And I think my kid here is the co-host, and I think he's like, I'll be the straight man, he'll be the funny man.
I was watching, but I was watching the kid being cute. What was your question?
What? So you're carrying basically, for all intents and purposes, you have two ladies in your life.
Yes.
What boundaries matter to you most here in keeping things going? What matters to you most?
I got to make sure I have coffee time. I got to make sure I have beer time or whiskey time. And then I got to make sure that I'm able to still maintain me. Yeah. So I still like watching wrestling. I love being on my motorcycle when the weather's good. But I also do that with my daughter. So
yeah.
The motorcycle that I had a smaller one. I bought a bigger one that has a full encased back for her to have a backrest on with storage.
Yeah.
But we've been to a couple different states. But for me, I still have to be me.
Yeah.
They'll both torment me. One will put eye patch stuff or eye cream crap on my face. The other one's brushing my beard and putting berets or whatever it's called in my beard. I still have to have me, because if I'm not, then I can't be the foundation of what they're looking for.
So your message right here I'm getting is a message of self-care then. Take care of you. So what I'm hearing is keep your oxygen mask on, because you're no use dead to anybody, right?
Yep.
That's awesome, because that's something I talk about a lot. Now, how do you keep your daughter at the center of your universe and still maintain allowing yourself this? Because, how do you keep the time? How do you manage your time?
Up at 5 o'clock, up at 5:30. Her and I have time on days off. Her and I have time together. Afterwards, we have our dates. And I get home from work, she gives me a giant hug.
This is my new sock.
Look at his new shirt.
That's pretty awesome.
Yes. It actually was his sister's not too long ago. He grew into it real quick. I love my kids, man. I love when they're a part of my stuff, too. Okay. Now, close with your daughter. I'm understanding that the little things matter, right? So I want to hear about some of the stuff that you and your daughter do that you do on hard days. When you're having a rough time, your daughter walks in the room, what happens? Does she understand you're having a rough time, or is she just right on you?
She runs and splashes on top of me.
Yeah.
And will say, I'm part of you. And I'm like, wait, no. She's like, well, I came from you then. And she says that a lot. She says that to me, and I said, please don't say it that way. And she'll say it to me if I'm in the kitchen cooking, and she'll bump into me. We talked about her doing the vacuum or the Roomba.
Yep.
So she'll bump into me and then step back and rotate and bump into me, and then she'll be like, I came from you. We do that. We have ice cream dates. We go on motorcycle rides together. We've been in a couple states together. But it's an everyday presence, I guess I should say.
Showing up, man. No,
there's
you
days
don't have that problem.
No, there's days that if I'm working a 12-hour shift, I get home, I'm dead. I give her a hug, I give her a kiss. I'll lay on the couch, she'll cuddle up next to me, and I fall asleep. And then I wake up the next morning, and she obviously didn't fall asleep, and she went to her room in bed and left me on the couch versus waking me up so I can go upstairs and sleep in my own bed. But it's just every day.
I like what you were saying. You mentioned the motorcycle rides, the hardware store dates. I want to know what a hardware store date is. What is that?
So it used to be, and I know Home Depot and Lowe's both do it on different days. For the young kids under 12, they can go and learn how to make something.
Yep.
So she's made a lot of different things there. If there's a house project, she goes with me, and then I grab her a drink or something at the Chick-fil-A afterwards.
Yeah.
It could be just walking in the aisles, and she messes with stuff as I'm looking for whatever else I got to fix. Because when we bought the house, I mean, it still is a fixer-upper, but done stuff to it. But we bought a short sale because we were really, really tight on money, and I wasn't expecting an extra mouth to feed.
Yeah.
But so, work on the house. We go to 16 handles, which I think is like Jolly Frog or what you have down there.
Sweet Frog, yeah.
Sweet Frog. Yeah. They had one up here. I realized that when I went to the mall the other day. They had one, then I think it closed and became something else.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
But even if we go grocery shopping, we're with each other. And she's told me numerous times that when she moves out, if she does, I was like, no, you're moving out eventually.
if
she's like, I'll still call you to go grocery shopping, because she likes stuff like anime, but she doesn't like dealing with people. Yeah. Besides me and a few others. She's like, no, Dad, I'll call you and ask you to go grocery shopping with me.
Hi.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I love that. That is so great. So the way I'm getting it, I'm understanding that the vision of your daughter I have is that she's almost wise beyond her years, right?
She's got, like I said, she's got straight A's in school.
Yeah.
Each time they do testing, she's always testing a couple years over what grade she's in. So now she's in 6th, she's testing 8th grade.
Punching above a bunch of weight class, huh?
Yeah.
That's great, man. That's great. Now, what do you think she's learning from you without you ever saying a word? What would be if you wanted it to be, and then what would you think she is learning from you?
I mean, she's learning from all the bad stuff I've done, and she's learning from, I'd say, anything that's happened. She chose to stay with me for 7 days.
Yeah.
Wow. She's the one that has that call. Wow. And I'm glad that she's with me every day, even rough days. I give her hugs. So I say, if I could have her want to learn something from me, it would be, keep going, don't give up.
Resilience. I love that.
And just keep, even when it seems impossible, just keep doing what you can do. Because there was a lot of days when stuff was going wrong, it just felt like it wasn't going to end.
Yeah.
But I'd say what she's not saying she's learning from me, I think it would still be the same thing. Like, just keep doing the best you can.
Yeah. Now, you said academically she's very advanced. Now, is that something that you've assisted with, or is it just blowing your mind that she's the way she is?
So for a long time I would check her homework, or my aunt would check her homework, who lives with me, who helps out. And or her mom would in the past when she was able to, but we would help explain if something was wrong, what to fix to have it not be wrong again. But in school they do this currency thing to where she's already where other students are at, like within a year's end, that she's already at that point for their points for stuff for 6 months in. And I mean, I asked, like, what can I do for her to do better, and they're like, nothing,
huh? That's great. That must be that's a real proud dad thing. Now, your girlfriend, not fiance, not married. Your girlfriend, does she help in the parenting realm? Is she part of that?
So,
because I know that's a tricky line to trot. I have a stepdaughter. I understand that.
She's there as a listening ear. And there's been multiple conversations to where I've said to my daughter, like, I want to make sure that this doesn't become an issue because you're my daughter. And my daughter absolutely adores her. Yeah. She's asked when she can go see her and hang out with her. She's asked when we can all go do stuff together. So she gives advice. My daughter is very well behaved, so there hasn't been any issues as far as having to say, like, this is an issue.
Yeah.
And there's a couple times to where I'll say to my daughter's like, she's got too much caffeine. I'm like, cut the shit. But she, there's been a couple times, and I go off because she's got so much energy, and I just worked a 12-hour shift, and I'm like, I can't do the vacuum right now. I can't do this. And then she'll start splashing me, like I said, on the couch, like full body weight. I'm like, Pie, cut the shit. That's her nickname.
Pie, huh?
Yeah, PIE is her nickname. But then, oddly enough, she's also memorized, I think, the first 20-something digits of Pi, which I can't get past 3.14.
Neither can I.
Yep. But they hang out, and then she's like, well, I want to go hang out with her, or go here with there, what have you, with her. So she's more than willing to step up.
Yeah.
And she's shown that. And my daughter, like I said, absolutely adores her.
That's great, man. See, that is again, I have a stepdaughter, and it's tricky, especially when, I think it's a lot easier for the step parent if the other parent was not involved, to be able to maintain that role. It's because it becomes a tricky line to trod. Has she ever talked to you about this being difficult, or has it always been just a natural flow to her?
As far as my daughter, for how she feels, or
no, your girlfriend. Has she ever been like, question her stability, or
well, she's nervous because she doesn't want to overstep any boundaries, and she's really caring. She's a sweetheart of a girl, and there's been times that my daughter has said stuff to her, and she's like, I just want to make you aware, and I'm like, well, why are you saying this stuff to her? Because she's like, well, I like her as a maternal figure. And so I'm like, you still have your mom. It's great that you like her. It's great that you adore her. You still also have a mom. And so I'm trying to walk that line of, maybe it's, if the shoe was on the other foot, I would want the same courtesy.
Yeah, of course.
Because like I said, my daughter lives with me 7 days a week. She sees her mom for a couple hours a week by her own choice. Yeah. And if the shoe was on the other foot, I would want, walk in the straight line.
Yeah.
But she's brought up the fact of, when you two get married.
I knew that was coming.
So my daughter absolutely loves her.
That's good, man.
Gives her big hugs when she sees her. And it's scary for
coming fast, isn't it?
For any dad, I'd say, that has a son or a daughter, but maybe for me it's just scarier having the daughter.
Mm-hmm.
It's scary that your daughter is pushing to try to have. I don't want to say she's trying to rebuild the family. But I feel like it's something that her being 12 years old, she shouldn't be worried about.
I understand.
Like, that's a me worry.
Yeah, I see that. I can see that. I understand that. I never. Wow, that's a deep angle to take. Now, we're totally off script now. By the way,
we are 100%.
We are 100% off script right now. I want to talk about this a little more because I can relate to this, what we're talking about right now. I had a question and I totally lost it.
It's like the movie to where, what was the girl with the red hair's name? That she was a celebrity. She had a twin, but she wasn't a twin.
I don't remember. I can't think of
it. But they were trying to hook the dad up with someone. I don't remember, but she got into drugs and now she's straightened up for the most part.
Oh, you're talking about Lindsay Lohan.
Yeah.
Parent Trap.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember the original one. My grandmother watched it with me.
Like, she's trying to do all this stuff at 12 years old. That's the scary part. Like, I absolutely love the fact that she gets along great with her. It makes me happy. It's me, like, she should be focused on being 12 years old, not focus on having the conversation of, Dad, when are you going to meet somebody?
Yeah. So a lot of things, historically, I've read a lot about this kind of stuff, being because of being the step-in parent. Um, what do you think she had to grow up quickly? Because I've read like I know that my stepdaughter had to grow up quickly with the separation. It came naturally. Do you think she grew up quickly, or at her own pace? What do you think about that?
So, because my daughter was always kind of a jerk in a loving way. We
Yeah.
tried putting her in daycare. She didn't want it. She freaked out. And then we ended up we got lucky. We found someone that later on, as a couple, we became friends with her and her husband that had a baby also and was watching them. But she's always hung out with older folks. My grandmother passed away. My aunt moved in to help out. And, you know, she's not a spring chicken or whatever the term is. So, like,
Yeah.
she was helping out with my daughter to where she was around people significantly older than her. So that added on to it. But also that happening, yeah. Because I think a lot of what her trying to do and decisions was watching out for me, and she's 12. She shouldn't have to have that stress.
But it comes natural to her. I understand.
Yeah, because the fact that I mean, her and I are so close, and I'm not saying it as a means of other people aren't close to their kids.
Yeah.
It's her and I. And so
Yeah.
I don't go out drinking at bars. I watch movies with my daughter. I go out now and then to see some buddies, but even like I'll say her extended non-blood family are all older people. I've had
Yeah.
people that a guy used to be my boss I talk to him almost every morning. He'd come out and hang out with her when she was a baby. So she's always had older adults around her. She didn't grow up with a lot of kids. And she thinks a lot of kids are loud and annoying. So,
Don't we all?
yeah. She'll
So
complain in class, and she's like, this kid talked too much, and he just couldn't keep his mouth shut. And I'm like, he's the same age as you.
he's the same age as you. That's great. One thing that I struggled with, having my stepdaughter, being, I was a new parent. She was 6 years old when I came into her life. And I was also in active addiction. Now, by default, she learned a lot about me from sitting on the stairs, listening. How did you shield your daughter? I mean, obviously you went through a lot of, I don't want to say drama with your first marriage falling apart. How did you shield her from the adult conversations being so active in her life?
There was times that her mom and I would go out of the house to have the conversations. There were some times that we both made mistakes and got loud.
Yeah.
And I can't say what was happening when I wasn't there, but when it was me there with her, it was saying, because I live in her childhood home. Like, in our daughter, we didn't move somewhere else afterwards. I'm in the house that
Yeah.
her mom and I bought, and it was nothing that happened was because of you. I tell her every day, I give her a hug, you're beautiful, you're smart, I love you. And I told her, like, nothing that your mom did was because of you.
Yeah. That's deep, man. Real quick, and I don't want to keep you too much longer here, but you seem to respect your ex-wife to a certain level. You don't speak very ill of her, really. Honestly, I mean, how do you keep that?
Oh, I'm supposed to way back.
tucked down?
So,
If you have resentment, I don't know.
I it's a different, I say, mindset every day. There's days that I really, really do.
Yeah.
And it's a constant work on process. I don't like anything that she did. I don't like anything that she chose to become.
Wow.
And I'm close to her family. I talk to her family a lot. I love them to death. I talk to her baby sister almost every couple days, and I love her to death. And as I mentioned, I'm not saying like if she had a flat tire, I wouldn't help her.
Yeah.
But if if there was two people that needed help and my ex was one of them, I'd probably help the other person first. And that's being honest, and that's not maybe the best mindset to
No,
have, but
no. I mean, I'd probably call AAA too. You know, man,
but I
I
can't,
have a
as I
lot of respect
mentioned,
for you.
I can't I can't be happy if I keep focusing on every decision that she made.
Yeah, so you don't let it rent too much space in your head.
Yeah, I guess that's the best way to put it. Is I try to make it to where she has no space whatsoever.
Yeah, that's a brave thing to do, man. Wow, damn, son. Well, so in the beginning of this, Eddie mentioned that we asked him. He said, "Eddie, if there's one thing that everybody wants, you tell every dad in the world, what would it be?" Do you want to elaborate on that at all? You said that there's you've got a village behind you, basically. You want to elaborate on that at all?
So at the time, I had next door neighbors. They were helping me out. I've got a lot of close friends helping me out. I've talked to people in the dad's group. Everyone has someone that they could lean on, and they may not even know it. A lot of times, I think as dads or as guys, is we don't want to be a liability. We don't want to inconvenience
Burdensome,
somebody.
yeah.
You don't want to be
Yeah.
the burden. A lot of us, I think, have the mentality of our only worth is based off what we can provide. But a lot of times, I think we've got to be honest that we need help.
Yeah.
And I
Wow.
mean, you guys are starting to get this together with the podcast. We've got the Dad's Club group. I've got my social media that I'm rebuilding, and we're trying in different ways, but working together to try to help be that support.
Yeah. That's something that I think we have very in common here is that, I felt very alone when I was out there. You know what I mean? I felt like I was unique. I was the only one ever going through that. And I really think that by even you sharing your story, there's going to be another dad out there somewhere in this world that's going to be like, I'm going through that right now. This guy made it. I know I can. And that's very admirable of you, man. I like that a lot.
I mean, as long as there's a platform and people are creating the platform,
That's
whether
right.
it's you or other people also in the group, even if it's like the I'd say the no approval Saturday, to where people, if they want to say something, as long as they behave, they can say something, getting it off their chest.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, man. Well, Eddie, that was a great interview, man. I like that a lot, man. I really liked going off script too. I think
You're showing some skin.
yeah, I know, right? We're going for ratings now. All right, Eddie. Well, thank you so much again for coming on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Eddie. I want you to check out. We're going to put Eddie's socials on there. He mentioned he's trying to grow his socials, grow his platform. We're going to include that in the post when we share this. Man, that was just a good interview, dude. I really appreciate you. Guys, I want to thank you for tuning in. Check out the Dad's Club. We've got a page. We also have the group. You're a dad. Join the group. Check that out. Remember, gentlemen, you are not alone. Someone somewhere out there has walked in your footsteps and is willing to help carry you through it. So speak up. Right?
100%.
All right, Eddie. Well, you have a wonderful night. Get some rest. I hear you're working early in the morning.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Good night.
No problem.